Welcome to the Legend Visions show. I'm Carl Bennett, and I'm joined by Rupe Harricharan, and we're here to talk some cricket, local cricket, international cricket, with the World Cup happening, going on really right at the moment. We have tons to talk about, and so we plan to get into it right here on Legends Vision show. The West Indies can win, but it may come down to who gets the toss.
Well, West Indies bowlers have to believe in themselves and think that they can repeat that performance over and over with allowing Australia, if they win the task and give Australia to bat, Australia come in there with Finch and Warner, Khawaja and Smith.
Yeah.
Those four.
Steve Smith.
Those four, they have the weapon to marginalize them. But they just can't be wild. Like our old West Indian.
Yeah.
They can't be wild. We see with the young O'Shane Thomas.
Yeah.
Gabriel, I never believed in him, to be honest with you. I think he's still developing after all these years. White is his problem, no ball is his problem. And you give a guy at the beginning of his innings 5 or 6 loose ball like that, he's starting to measure you up.
Yeah.
He's predicting you up.
And it gives those batsmen confidence.
Yes.
If you give them loose, and that's one of the issues too that I have with O'Shane Thomas, in the sense that O'Shane Thomas is a wicket taker. He's quick, he can take wickets, but he's loose sometimes in terms of, he doesn't have the discipline to bowl line and length as yet. And he also oversteps the crease quite a bit for, which in the old days of cricket, overstepping the crease, you will take that here and there. In modern day cricket, the no ball, it's a cardinal sin to overstep the crease for sure. And so, if O'Shane Thomas should play ahead of Gabriel, Roach, then you would sense that he has to be disciplined. He can't rely on bowling short to the Australians, because they love that short bowling and they could take apart an attack. And if those guys should get set, if those Australian batsmen should get set in the wicket, it could be a long day for the West Indies in the field. And they could be looking at chasing a total in the range of 350 plus. And so that's why I think it's going to require discipline. It's going to require good fielding. So they have to take their catches. West Indies have been dropping some simple catches. Even Ed Meyer, as good a prospect as he is as a batsman, he's got to work on getting the fielding right. He's got to pick it up in the field. Drops too many, what you might consider simple catches. And if you allow one of those big batsmen
to get away
with a chance, that you're looking at maybe that guy goes on to make 100, a big 100 to 100, 150,
We had that problem with New Zealand when Samuels dropped Jacobs at first ball he faced, or among the first 5 ball. Guy went on to score about 200 something runs on the West Indies and destroy them. So that's where my argument is, West Indies, even if they send in these guys to bat first and think that a team like Australia will crumble for less than 200, they might be surprised. But the thing is that Australia is in the cusp of building their batting. They only have four guys. To me, Finch is in and out of form. Warner is not longevity in terms of innings within the innings.
Yeah.
He would be there or not be in there. But Smith is an anchor. Smith is a genuinely hard batsman to out.
Yeah. Smith's quality, you can't understate how good he is. I mean, and he has an appetite for runs, which is what I like to see.
Yeah.
The batsman that I like, the batsman who is willing to go to the crease, be committed, and plan to bat long, to bat the whole day. And that's what I like about Steve Smith. That's what he brings.
I saw him came into Test cricket years ago. I would say about 8 years ago, and he was the leg spinner. Nobody pays him any attention with his batting, and then he came back in his second stint and have this an unbelievable talent and timing.
Yeah.
His timing is tremendous.
Yeah.
He stands there and he plays shots so late that bowlers get confused as to how to bowl to him.
Yeah.
And then he moves.
And the good thing is he has good hands, which
hands and eyes.
Yes, and so even when he doesn't get exactly to the timing of every delivery, just because he uses his wrist action is so good, his wrist play is so good, and just how sometimes even when he might push at a ball, push hard at it, if the ball is not where he expects it to be, just use the way he uses his hands, takes his hands off the blade, or just the way he moves it.
Push it for a single.
Yeah.
Get away from strike. Go on the other side and watch what's going on.
And that's why the guy knows how to score runs. He knows how to.
And once you can rotate the strike, and don't get one bowler to work at you, and have the other bowlers lurking on and determine your weakness, or determine whether you are not timing properly, and they find out a little weakness, and you start working on your weakness. You don't find his weakness. You keep getting his strength all the time.
Yeah.
Keep getting his strength all the time, and he's building throughout the innings. So, but Australia has four batsmen to work with.
Well, you might add in Glenn Maxwell as well. Maxwell is, these guys have been playing T20 around the world, and he's a ball striker as well.
To me, he's stuck with that T20 T20 rhythm.
Yeah.
So West Indies has batsmen up to Nurse.
Yeah, the West Indies, they have good depth in batting.
Yeah, they're down to 9.
And that's why I think the West Indies, their prospects in this tournament really comes down to the fact that they have batting depth. They're playing with a lot of all-rounders in their team, which says, your batting depth is strong, but to me that also means that your bowling may not be as strong, because some of these all-rounders are, they are batting talents, yes, and so you expect them to feature with the bat, but they're average bowlers in my mind. To my mind, for this level of tournament, you come up with that bowling attack against India, against England, against even Australia, some of those bowlers are going to take some stick, and so the question is, the frontline bowlers that the West Indies have, the specialist bowlers, the O'Shane Thomases, the Gabriels, if those are the bowlers that they go, the Kamara Roaches, will they have an impact to take wickets up top, to then allow the lesser rated bowlers, let's say, to come in behind them and to keep the run rates low, to keep putting pressure on the batting team, and so that's where I think the question comes into whether or not the West Indies, with the unit that they have, can actually make a real impression against those big teams like Australia, India, England, etc.
Well, we gotta get 1 to 5, someone there every game making big runs.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about Gale has to stay there and wait to bat into the 30s.
Yeah.
Gale has to stay there. Lewis, although we know he is a young talent, Lewis is a young talent. Hope, Hitmeyer, Bravo is just coming back with Puran. So we're top heavy with a lot of new talent. Not necessarily bad talent. I think they're very good talent.
Good, sure.
But they're new talent. And sometimes when people are new, they're hungry. That's where legends are built.
Mm-hmm.
You give a guy a chance and he comes right away and he deliver for you.
Right.
And I think these guys have delivered. Hitmaya deliver for the for Guyana, Amazon Warrior.
Yeah.
How much? 2 century last year, or three?
CPL.
Yeah. Puran came out big for
Yeah.
Barbados. He's always there. He's hitting the long ball and he's creating winning situation. He's making his team putting his team in winning situation.
And the good news about Puran as well is not only is he a good batsman, but now just from what I've seen of him in the outfield, because they use Shai Hope to keep the wicket now, they play Puran in the outfield, and he's very athletic, which is good. And he has good hands. He's good at taking catches on the deep, and so he's a man that you could use in strategic position on the field as well.
And we know Sai Hope. So I think Gale, Sai Hope, they have to gel that batting lineup and keep going deep as much as they can every game. And I think their strength would be to save wicket up to 30 overs. And let their 2020 skills begin.
Come to the fore.
Yeah,
right. Over 30,
with at least their star 2020 player, Russell and Holder and Puran and Hitmaya, those guys in the middle, to really bring runs up. 100, 130, 140 runs in the last 20 is where their strength lies.
Yeah. Their strategy, the West Indies, I think their most effective strategy, as you pointed out, is in approaching their batting. First 10 overs is preserving wickets, keeping the scoreboard moving, but preserving wickets.
Not even with the scoreboard. With their style of cricket, they have to, their experience, they're top heavy with experience. Not much experience, but their experience lies at the top.
Sure.
With the most experienced Chris Gale. And you have Lewis, who he's been knocking about 4 years now. So he should develop he has tremendous talent.
Yeah, he's a talent.
Sai Hope, he's getting into form. He's made 300, so he knew how to bat long now.
Sure.
Bravo. We know the talent he is. He just got to get back into his groove and forget. To me, he's trying to match these newcomers.
He's struggling a bit for form at the moment, Darren Bravo. But to your point, his skill level and his natural ability to play in this format.
Bat long. He's
very conducive to
he should bat long.
Lots of runs.
I think he should bat long and let these guys bat around him. Because if you get to Bravo at number 4 and you're really depending on a batsman to stay there and guide the rest of the innings, you're talking about Bravo is the perfect guy.
So the question though is now, what's the combination that you're gonna go with? So you would have Chris Gale at the top, maybe Lewis to open, maybe Shai Hope come 3,
Bravo 4, Hitmaya 5.
All right.
And then Puran 6.
So then now you're left with.
I get Holder. No, you get Russell, then Holder.
So Russell would be 7, let's say. Holder 8. And then you would have your 3 bowlers.
Yeah, so I'm bringing in. So Russell is strong team. Russell is coming in at 35 over.
Yeah.
And he's batting up to. He's giving you 10 over and making you 100 runs.
That's a strong team. The problem that I think the West Indies may have with Andre Russell is fitness. So I saw that in the match against Pakistan, just walking just almost nonchalantly to pick up a ball that was hit into, I think he was fielding at backward point or somewhere down close to the boundary. It was a very innocuous, he just bent down to pick the ball up, and then I see him, he's struggling,
playing a lot of cricket. Playing a lot of cricket.
Yeah, he is, and he's very muscled, and so if you're not really stretching and doing all the right things to be, fully prepared to play every day and play 50 overs, play 100 overs, if you want to call it that. It can it can impact your ability on the field. And Andre Russell, you know when he's on the field, he's gonna give you 100%. He's a good fielder. He's obviously a good batsman. And we've seen that his bowling, I think, to my mind, has improved a lot to where he can be very effective in restricting teams and picking up wickets. So he's a very good all-around, a good person to have in the team.
That's why I'm thinking his role in the team is is short stay with high intensity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you preserve him, you gotta play 9 games. You kind of get him in there for sometimes the game he might only have to struggle for 3 or 4 tough games.
Yeah.
The top give him a rest. He come in shorts term
short burst
in the end,
mm-hmm.
and do take care of business, and he's there. But
and that also keeps him fresh. Like when you bowl him in short spells, let's say his energy's up. He can give you a good consistent pace throughout. Which I think against some of these teams that bat well against pace bowling, against the faster stuff, you want those guys fresh and being able to bowl really effectively at the top of their game.
And you keep Russell back late, even he's there. He's in the mind of the captain, the opposition captain. He's in the mind when he's effecting his bowling changes or he's effecting any movement. He's getting something on top of his mind. What am I doing? Am I saving singles? I'm containing this guy, but I am prolonging the game so the match winner is coming in. So is he going to keep spending his price asset, or he's going to hold it back? If he holds it back, then you give these guys the top order free license to play a game freely.
To play their natural game.
Because of the pressure effect that these guys create once they are outside, once they are on that team, they give additional pressure of managing the play throughout.
One thing I'll say, I mean, just in terms of the flair that the West Indies bring to this tournament, I think if they play anywhere close to the top of their game, let's say, so if they play at their best, they're one of the teams that fans and spectators will come out to watch, because irrespective of whether they win or lose, if they're playing at their best, or they're playing at close to their best, let's say, those games are going to go down to the wire. They're going to score a lot of runs. No amount of runs will be out of reach just based on the depth of their batting. Again, if they're playing their best. And in the same token, when if they bat first and put runs on the board, they're always going to put team under pressure. One thing I'll say too about Chris Gale's influence on teams, just how the emotional aspect of the game, and the psychological aspect. When you know that Chris Gale is at the wicket, even if he's not scoring a lot of runs, just the fact that he's there says to you that we're in some bit of trouble here, because the fact that he's there, he can change the game at the end. So if 10 overs to go, 15 overs to go, this guy can go on a rampage.
And not alone, he's eating up your best asset. He's eating up your best weapon at the beginning. And if he stays, the longer he stays there, the more you are out of weaponry.
Right.
Because you gotta come at him.